Okay, everyone, from that clickety-clack sound, it's time for TV Oblivion, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 25, season 1. Today's date is December 18th, 2022, and thank you for joining me today. It's been a while. I haven't done a podcast episode, I think about last month, right before Thanksgiving or around that time. I don't remember exactly. On today's show, I will talk about the shows that are rarely syndicated and largely forgotten, and they all went to TV Oblivion. Okay, so I do this every episode on my podcast. So here's the lineup for today. From the 1940s, it would be the anthology drama for theater. From the 1950s would be the television sitcom Bonino. From the 1960s would be the legal drama series, TV series that is, Arrest and Trial. From the 1970s would be The Addams Family, the animated series. From the 1980s would be Amanda's, also known as Amanda's by the Sea. That's a television sitcom. From the 1990s would be the TV drama Black Tie Affair. And also in the 2000s would be the television sitcom All About the Andersons. So this will be fun. And like I said before, these are shows that a lot of people have forgotten or they barely remembered. So, I mean, I am here to refresh your memory. Sometimes mine, too. I'm getting older. Okay. Right now, the program will go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Jell-O. And this is a commercial with features a holiday salad. And this is from 1973. I remembered this commercial. And I found it on YouTube. I downloaded it and I put it on the episode. So sit back and enjoy, and this will take you back to a simpler time where I think Jell-O was more acceptable than today. Okay, I'll be right back, everyone. Thank you.
To give salads a holiday look, start with Jell-O gelatin, like Mrs. Susan Dando of Boston.
At this time of year, we have friends over more than ever. And I like to do special things for them. Like my mother did for her friends. I remember the Jell-O molds she made. Never thought I could make them, but I finally tried, and it was easier than I thought. Now I even have a little trick for arranging fruit or nuts to make any mold look special. All you do is pour some Jell-O brand gelatin into a mold and chill until it thickens. Then, arrange nuts in any pattern you like, pressing them in. After the remaining gelatin is thickened, just fold in the rest of the fruit and nuts, spoon on top, chill, and unmold according to the directions on the package.
Susan, this really looks beautiful.
For Susan Dando's and other holiday recipes, see November and December women's magazines. To give your salads a holiday look, start with Jell-O.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Jell-O. That's a holiday salad. The way it described, you add fruit on top, in the middle, whatever. My mom makes something similar like that. She doesn't make that in a while. Sometimes she makes green Jell-O with Cool Whip, sometimes sour cream, and she adds pears or pineapple. I love it. It's great, like that. But today, most people don't do it. It's frowned upon. It's American classic product. What can I say? It's been advertised on radio, television, magazines, newspapers. Still vital. It's still vital part of Americana. What can I say? Okay. At the beginning of the program, I gave you the lineup for today's show, so we're going to get started. First show I'm going to talk about is Ford Theater. And this was originally a radio show, and it aired on, it aired on NBC and then on CBS, 1 year apart, that is. And then it moved over to television. And the radio show was broadcast from New York. And then it moved to Hollywood when they switched networks, they moved to CBS and went to Hollywood. First they had in New York, you have New York actors that perform on Broadway or prefer to live there. And then they moved to California and they have Hollywood actors, in the movies. They did that. And they decided to end the program on the radio. And let's see what else. And then it moved over to television. And the first episode appeared October 17, 1948. And it was a 1 hour show, broadcast live, like most anthology shows, with live drama. And it became very popular at the time. Then, let's see, I think it went off the air for... No, it didn't go off the air. Then it returned for the 1951 season on NBC. And it switched from an hour format to a half-hour format. And then they showed... let's see, what else? They had a lot of Hollywood actors that performed. Like, for example, they had Claudette Colbert. They had Peter Lawford, Ida Lupino, Dennis Morgan, Ann Sheridan, and Barry Sullivan. Also, for the first time together on this program were Ronald Reagan and his wife Nancy Reagan, which back then was Nancy Davis. This is his second wife, and they appeared in an episode called Firstborn. And that first appeared, that aired on February 3rd, 1953. Then in October 1954, it became the first TV series ever to film regularly in color, which was pretty good. And then did well in the ratings. And then after 4 seasons, in 1957, they switched time slots. And then it moved from NBC to ABC. And then... it ended for about 1 year, and then that was the end of that. And they a lot of critics love the show. Their acting, their dramas they presented, and it was an amazing anthology series. There were so many, U.S. Steel, Robert Montgomery Presents, Playhouse 90. Oh, wonderful, wonderful dramas. You can find them on YouTube if you'd like. There's a few episodes of the Ford Theater if you care to see. I don't know if the episode with Ronald Reagan's there. I haven't checked. You may do so if you'd like. I might do that as well later. Right now, I'm going to play the introduction of the TV show Ford Theater, and this is sponsored by, of course, the Ford Motor Company. This is about almost 4 minutes, and explains... This is the sponsor. It explains about the show and its product. So sit back and enjoy the promo for Ford Theater. Thank you, everyone.
From the raw materials of Earth, through the processes of modern science, by the precise workmanship of careful men with skillful hands, comes the precision line of fine automobiles. Ford, Mercury, and Lincoln. Produced by the world's most experienced builder of passenger cars and trucks, Ford Motor Company. This is the Ford Theater. This is the Ford Motor Company. The Mighty Rouge at Dearborn, world's largest manufacturing plant, and 36 other manufacturing plants in 36 cities across the continent. And 150,000 skilled men and women, all devoted to one thing, building automotive products of the highest quality, the precision line of fine trucks and cars. Ford. Mercury. And Lincoln. Every step of the complex manufacturing process is in accordance with the highest quality standards, with strict attention to every detail, with continual checks and tests to ensure high quality. In smelting the iron, Ford checks for quality. Producing the steel, Ford tests for quality. Making the glass, Ford inspects for quality. Forming the body, Ford checks for quality. Finishing the engine block, Ford inspects for quality. Turning the crankshaft, Ford tests for quality. In the creation of every one of the 10,000 parts that go into a new automobile, right through final assembly, the constant emphasis is on precision workmanship and quality manufacture. The 150,000 men and women at Ford never forget the importance of the quality they are building into their products. They are proud of that quality. Quality that makes Ford products outstanding. At Ford, the production line is a precision line. And the result is quality cars and trucks. Ford trucks. Ford, Mercury, and Lincoln automobiles. The precision line of fine cars. Produced by the world's most experienced builder of cars and trucks, Ford Motor Company. The Ford Theater is brought to you by Ford Motor Company, builders of Ford, Mercury, and Lincoln cars, Ford trucks, and farm tractors. For top variety, watch Ed Sullivan's Toast of the Town on CBS TV, sponsored by your Lincoln Mercury dealers. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the promo for the Ford Theater. It was also called the Ford Television Theater later on. Sometimes Ford Theater Hour or the Ford Television Theater Hour, and alternate titles. One trivia about this show, that's trivia. It alternated with another anthology series called the Magnavox Theater, and that alternated with the show during the 1950 and 51 season. So wasn't on every week, so that's interesting on that. We need shows like that these days, but that's not happening. No, I won't go into that. So that's the same. We need more prestige shows on television. Okay. Next up, we have the television sitcom Bonino. I heard about this show, which is quite interesting. It was a television sitcom, and it first aired on September 12, 1953, ended December 26, 1953. I had, we don't know how many episodes were around, maybe about 16, maybe more than that. Ran for one season, 30-minute show. And that starred Ezio Pinza. He was an Italian opera singer. And I've heard him sing. I mean, I watched him sing on YouTube. He's fabulous, a wonderful singer. And I think this is probably his first acting role, I imagine, but we don't know. So, and then this is about the premise was he was a traveling concert singer, and he retired. And then, so he can live home with his 8 motherless children. There was no wife in the show. That's the norm for a TV sitcom. And he would there'll be situations in the show that involve with the children, and their oldest. There was a storyline that had about the engagement and marriage of the oldest daughter, Doris Bonino, and that was played by Lenka Peterson, actress that is, and I don't know if and. I'm sure. I think she got married, and then she became pregnant. During the show, it had a good cast. Let's see, for example, the children. There was Edward Bonino, that was played by Conrad Janis. You remember him as Mindy's father in Mork and Mindy. Also, as I mentioned before, Lenka Peterson as Doris Bonino. There was Chet Allen as Pierto Jerry Bonino. He was a famous child actor. Also, Oliver Andes as Carlo Bonino, Gay Hudson as Francesca Bonino, Lucio Greger as Angelo Bonino, Paul Giannelli as Michael Bonino, and Van Dyke Parks as Andrew Bonino. He first appeared in episode 4, but Conrad Janis appeared in episode 5. So not all the children appeared all at once. Van Dyke Parks, he's just known as he was he's still alive. He's a musician, songwriter. He was involved with with Brian Wilson with the Beach Boys. That's very interesting. And let's see what else. Also in the cast was Martha, the housekeeper. She's the one who took care of the kids, and that was played by the dependable Mary Wicks. And she's wonderful. She was a wonderful actress, funny lady, Lucille Ball's best friend. So let's see. Also in the cast was David Opatoshu. He was Bonino's business manager. Also Mike Kellen. He was Bonino's valet. And Donald Harris took over the role of that later on in the show. And also there was Anthony Isley. He was played by his character's name was John Clinton. Could be the husband of Doris. I'm not sure. And this was live, I think. Yeah, it was a live show. And didn't do well in the ratings. Not really. And it was sponsored by Philip Morris Cigarettes and Lady Esther Cosmetics. Unfortunately, I don't have the theme song or a video of the show. I searched everywhere. There's nothing. I think it was filmed by Kinescope, and I think once they aired, they were destroyed, which is a shame. It might, I don't know, maybe discovered elsewhere. We don't know, but it's nowhere to be found, which is a shame. I would love to see that, and that's a shame. So let me talk about a little about Ezio Pinza. Or was it Ezio? No, it's Ezio Pinza, and he was born in Rome, Italy in May 18th, 1892. His famous role was in the Broadway musical South Pacific. And I don't know if he was in the movie. I have not seen this movie in a long time. No, not for a long time indeed, let me check his credits real quickly. And he didn't do much acting for that. And I don't think he did the movie version. No, he didn't. He did that. But he starred in other TV shows. He had his own show in 1951. I didn't know that. So maybe I'll do an episode about that. Also, and let's see what else. And oh yeah, he passed away on May 9th, 1957. He had a stroke. He had 3 children. So that's terrible. Because I watched him on YouTube. He was amazing. There's a clip on YouTube. He's singing with Mary Martin, and it was wonderful. So, and he won a Tony for Best Actor in the musical South Pacific, which I mentioned. And so he's largely forgotten. So that's a shame. Okay. All right. Next up, we have from 1960s, and that is Arrest and Trial, and that's a TV legal drama. Uh, let's see, it aired for night. It was one of the first shows that aired 90 minutes. I think the other one was Simmer and Strip that aired on ABC. That was in 1967. I think there was another one. There were other shows like that, but I can't think on the top of my head. So this show first premiered on September 15, 1963, ended September 6, 1964, aired on ABC, had 30 episodes. It was a 90-minute show. And the majority of the episodes consist of two segments. The first part was the arrest, which were the following sergeants. One was there was Sergeant Nick Anderson, played by Ben Gazzara, and Dan Kirby, played by Roger Perry at the LA Police Department. And then the second part was the trial, and they had the criminal attorney, John Egan, played by actor Chuck Connors. Also, he was often against Deputy District Attorney Jerry Miller, played by John Large. You've seen him on many TV shows in the 50s and 60s. And he had his assistant, Barry Pine, who later became a lawyer, and that was played by actor John Kerr, who was in South Pacific, I believe. Like that. And this show was like Law and Order. Only the second half, the portion is focused on the prosecutorial side of the series than the defense. Law and Order has been on since 1990. It's still on, with SVU, et cetera, et cetera. So let's see. Who else was in the cast? No, not much. I did that. I had the show on DVD. Once it was available, I bought it because I was curious about this, and I watched it. I only watched it once. I won't watch it again, but I loved the show. It was great. Back in the early 60s, great drama. And a lot of guest stars. A lot of guest stars indeed, And let's see, what else? So, like, for example, who else was in it? There was Martin Balsam, Richard Basehart, Broderick Crawford, Peter Fonda, Anne Francis, Joey Heatherton, Dennis Hopper, Jack Klugman was in it, James MacArthur, Roddy McDowell, Michael Parks. Let's see, Mickey Rooney was in it, Telly Savalas, George Segal, William Shatner was in one episode, Martin Sheen. Let's see what else, and James Whitmore. So they had a great guest star list, and that's wonderful. Okay. Right now, I'm going to play the theme song for Arrest and Trial. When I get back, I will talk a little about Ben Gazzara. He had an interesting career, and so I'll be right back, everyone. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Arrest and Trial. One more piece of trivia about this show. I saw on the internet that when Chuck Connors did the show, he hated it. He didn't. He butted heads with management, and he thought he wasn't right for the role. And maybe some people agree. I liked him. I guess he's best known for Lucas McCain in The Rifleman, which I love that show. He was absolutely perfect, with Johnny Crawford. But, the show lasted for a year, and then he started later on in Brandon. Remember that show? And there was also Cowboy in Africa. I forgot about that one. As for Ben Gazzara, he was a wonderful actor. I liked him a lot. And he was on Broadway. And his famous role was in Otto Preminger's Anatomy of Murder. I have not seen this show in a long time. I got to watch it again. And he also started his own TV series called Run for Your Life. I saw it a couple times when I was little. I haven't seen it yet, but they should put this on DVD. I heard it's wonderful. Maybe we'll talk about that someday. And then he worked in movies, and he worked with John Cassavetes in a lot of movies, like, for example, Husbands, The Killing of the Chinese Bookie, and Opening Night. And he starred in other movies that as well, all the way till the 90s, and he was made me laugh sometimes, but he was from New York, and he was Italian like that. Yeah, he was a great actor. I liked him. Then let's see. Then he was born in New York in August 28th, 1930, and then he passed away February 3rd, 2012. He was 81. So I like him on the screen. He was great. He was a good actor. Okay. Next up, we have from the 70s, the Addams Family. Now, this is the animated series, not the TV sitcom. So let's get started on this. It was released, first aired, that is, on September 8th, 1973, ended December 22nd of the same year, had 16 episodes, typical Hanna-Barbera one season. And that's about the Addams Family, only in cartoon form. And it was a little different from the TV series, also from the comic strip. Well, in the comic strip, they look like the characters look like from the comic strip. And the only two actors from the show that did the voiceovers was, of course, Jackie Coogan, Uncle Fester, and also Ted Cassidy, who played Lurch. None of the other actors did. And the voice of Pugsley was none other than Jodie Foster. I guess she sounded like a boy back then, And I don't know why they did that. The show was different. The music, that is, it didn't have the famous theme song with the snapping fingers. They didn't have that, and this was different. And also in the cast, was Wednesday, Morticia and Gomez's daughter, and also Grandmama were there. Also, Thing was in there, Cousin It. That's good. Only this was set in like an RV. Their house was like that. It wasn't set in their home. Their home was interesting. Like that. And they were traveling around the country, and it was a creepy camper, and they run into criminals and strangers like that. That was part of the plot, like that. And I remember this show very well. When it first aired, I did watch it from time to time. This was not their first cartoon appearance. This was their first appearance was in the new Scooby-Doo movies, and that aired September 23rd, 1972, a year before. All the actors came back, for Gomez and Morticia, John Astin, Carolyn Jones, Jackie Coogan, Dick Cassie. The kids come, and they did Grandmama. They used other people. And they were drawn like to the original comics that were created by Charles Addams, like that. Okay. Let's see. So when I come back, first I'll play the theme song of the Addams Family, the animated series, and when I come back, I'll tell you a little more trivia about the show. Okay. Sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for the Addams Family, the anime series. I think I got cut off. I cut myself off before that. I think I did. I'll check. A little more trivia about the show. Let's see. In the anime series, they had some other animals. They had companions, like for example, Allie the alligator, Ocho the octopus, and Mr. V the vulture, and their kitty cat, the lion, which was on the TV show. I remember that. Let's see. What was I going to say? I'm trying to remember. My favorite of in the Scooby Doo episode that featured the Addams Family. It all the series was first released on DVD, but not all the episodes were in there because of rights and music and all that, and it took a while. I didn't buy that, so I think about a couple of years ago, they did release the entire series. All the episodes except one. This one, which features the Addams Family. I heard a rumor that John Aston didn't want to sign the rights, so he didn't want to do that. And which is a shame because I think you can find it on somewhere on the internet. I watched it, the entire thing. And my favorite scene in that episode when Scooby and the gang were staying with the Addams Family and Scooby was hungry and there was a big pot on the stove and he thought it was soup. So he ate the whole soup and, he was very selfish. And then Grandmama comes in and says, who ate what's going on? What happened to my pot? It's empty. And one of the characters said, Scooby-Doo ate your soup. And Grandmama said, no, that wasn't soup. That was the iguana's bath water. I forgot about that. That was funny. Like Scooby got sick. That's a shame, that this episode wasn't included in the DVD. It's not fair. It's not fair to Scooby Doo fans like that. But the Addams Family, the anime series, is on DVD, and you can order it on Amazon or their Warner Archives website if it's there. So you could do that, and we'll see. See about that. I'll intend to buy it. I don't know. As for the Addams Family, the TV series, the first one, the original, is the best. I love it. I have it on DVD. I watched it all my life on television when I was a kid. I like the Munsters better, but the Addams Family is great. It has a certain charm. They made movies after that in the 90s. I saw the first one, not the second one. I liked it. It was different, but once you get into that, because it starred Angelica Houston and Raul Julia, and they were perfect in their roles. They were great like that. And now I heard they made more remakes, more cartoons, and now they have a Netflix series about Wednesday Addams, and I heard it was excellent. So I'm gonna check it out. We'll see. Okay. Next up, we're going to the 80s, and it's a television sitcom called Amanda's, also known as Amanda's by the Sea, excuse me. And that starred B. Arthur, famous for Maud Findlay and Dorothy Zbornak. And this is another sitcom she did. And this was in between, I believe. I don't know if she did another one before. I don't think so. So this first aired on February 10th, 1983. Ended May 26, 1983. It had 13 episodes, 3 unaired on ABC. A 30-minute show, and starred B. Arthur. And this was based on the sitcom Faulty Towers, sort of like that. And let's see, B. Arthur starred as Amanda Cartwright. Also in the cast was Fred McCarran as Marty Cartwright, her son, Simone Griffith as Arlene Cartwright, his wife, a very snooty lady. I remember her playing that. Also in the cast was Tony Rosado as Aldo. He played what did he play? The bellhop. He was famous for his role in SCTV and Saturday Night Live. He was there. Also, Rick Hurst as Earl Nash. Also in the cast was King Curtis as Clifford Monday. He was a character actor. And Kevin McCarthy as Amanda's brother-in-law, Zach Cartwright. And I remember this show very well. I remember when I saw the promos on TV, and I was excited to see B. Arthur again on television because she was a funny lady, and I loved her. You know, you just look at her and she's like Bob Newhart. You just look at him and you start laughing. It's their expressions on their face. So the premise of the show, she was the owner of called Amanda's by the Sea. It was it was a seaside hotel overlooking the Pacific Ocean in California. And the manager was, of course, Marty. Her son, her spoiled daughter-in-law, Arlene lived there. She didn't like living there. Earl, Rick Hurst's character was the chef, and Tony Rosato's character, of course, was the bellhop. And there was the banker. That was King Curtis's character, and of course, the brother-in-law, Kevin McCarthy, who was trying to romance Amanda like that. This was not the first adaptation of Fawlty Towers for this show. There was another one called Snavely, and it was a pilot, and it was filmed, and it starred Harvey Korman and Betty White. And I don't know if I've seen it. I don't think so. And the show didn't do very well, and this was the only show that B. Arthur disliked. I don't know if she didn't care for it. Also, the only show she never quit. You know, she remained the show, but she didn't like what was going on. She didn't care for it. But she was excited to come back on television, and she thought this show would take off and be popular. But no, rating-wise, it stunk. Like that. But I saw the show, like I said before, on TV. I liked it, and let's see. There was one scene where B. Arthur's character Amanda got furious with Aldo, the bellhop, and he was carrying this large French bread, Vienna bread, and then she took it and hit him over the head with it. It was funny. I love that. You know, when any character that B. Arthur plays, and when she gets ticked off, she would just hit somebody. You know, I think she did that Maud, maybe a couple of times, but most of the time she did it on Golden Girls, and she did it with Betty White's character, Rose Island. So it's hilarious. So right now I'm going to play the theme song of Amanda's by the Sea. That's also known that. When I come back, I'll talk a little bit about Tony Rosato. He had an interesting career and life. Okay, so sit back and enjoy, everybody. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Amanda's by the Sea. That's what it's also known as. One more piece of trivia about this show. The third adaptation of Fawlty Towers, they did a sitcom. It was called Pain, P-A-Y-N-E, excuse me. And that starred John Larroquette from Night Court, and that was on CBS, and that aired in 1989, and I forgot all about that one. So that didn't do well either. I guess Faulty Towers is the best. I've seen it. I've seen the show many times. I like but I like John Cleese better in Monty Python because he's hilarious. He was wonderful. He really was. And let's see. So let me talk about Tony Rosato. He was an Italian Canadian actor, and he was also famous for voicing Luigi in the Adventures of Super Mario Brothers 3 and Super Mario World. And so he was first in the cast of SCTV in Canada, and then he moved over to Saturday Night Live for the 1981-82 season. Also in the cast was Robin Duke. She was in as well in SCTV and also in that as well. And he didn't stay very long, and he did some memorable characters, and I remember watching him. He was pretty good, but he only stayed for about a year. That's about it. So that's a shame. And let's see what else. And then his famous role was in the police drama that was in Canada called Night Heat. Remember that? And he was there for from 1985 to 1989. And then he had a turbulent personal life. It had something to do, when he was married, then he got divorced, and there was custody of the child, and and I think he had a breakdown, which is a shame. And unfortunately, he died of a heart attack, and he died at the age of 62 on January 10th, 2017. And Saturday Night Live played a tribute to him, which I'm glad they did that. They should do more of that when cast members from Saturday Night Live pass away. There were so many, So he was a funny man. I liked him. I really did. Okay. Next up, we have Black Tie Affair, and this is from the 90s as a television drama. It was also known as Smoldering Lust, and this was an hour-long show. I think it was. And it first aired on NBC May 29th, 1993, ended June 19th, 1993. Aired 13 episodes. Let's see, and only 8, and there were 8 unaired, so it didn't last long. And the premise was it was set in the 1940s, and there was a private eye, and he owned a record store. He was an owner of that. And he's investigates a philandering tycoon in San Francisco. I guess that's the plot. Had a good cast, and let's see. The cast consists of Bradley Whitford. He was Dave Brodsky in the show. He's famous for his role on The West Wing. Also, Kate Capshaw, excuse me. She was in the cast. She was Margot Cody. She's best known for her role in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom with Harrison Ford. She's also Steven Spielberg's wife. Also, there was John Calvin, Christopher Cody, Bruce McGill as Hal Kempner. We also known as his famous role in Animal House. Also in the cast was Allison Elliott, excuse me. Eve Saskatchewan. That's an odd name for that. Didn't do well in the ratings, and this was largely forgotten. Fell into the TV oblivion. That's a shame like that. Bradley Whitford was a good actor, and he was perfect in this role. I saw an episode on YouTube. He was great like that. So right now I'm going to play the theme song of this show, and when I come back, I'll talk about a little more about that actor. And and it should be very interesting. So sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you.
Smoldering lust, a moth around a flame.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Black Tie Affair, also known as Smoldering Lust. That's for the actor Bradley Whitford. Uh, he's best known as for his role in The West Wing. His character's name was Josh Lyman. He was the deputy chief of staff at the White House, and it was a good show. He also played in a memorable show called Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. I remember that. And also on Fox TV, The Good Guys. He did that. And let's see, what else? He was in The Mentalist. He played in that show. And played a lot of movies. And he was also in the movie Transparent. Remember that. So he had a great career. Very great career. Let's see, what other roles did he do? His earliest roles was Adventures in Babysitting. I remember that. And Presumed Innocent. He was in that as well. Scent of a Woman with Al Pacino and Philadelphia. The great movies. The Client was in that. So he was Billy Madison with Adam Sandler. I saw it once. I don't remember seeing it in there. I got to see it again. Oh, brother. Like that. And let's see. Television shows. His first role was in The Equalizer, with Edward Woodward. I can say his name. And let's see. He did some soap operas, All My Children, Guiding Light. He did NYPD Blue. He was in the X-Files. He did, a lot of television. A lot of television indeed. So that's great. He's a good actor. I like him. I really do. Okay. Okay, our last show, this is from the 2000s, is a television sitcom. It's also called All About the Andersons. And this starred Anthony Anderson. I think it's one of his first TV roles or TV show. Could be. I'm not sure. I'll talk a little bit about him after I talk about the show. And this first aired on September 12th, 2003, ended February 12th, 2004. It was on the WB before the CW. It had one season, 16 episodes, 30-minute show. And it starred Anthony Anderson, and the character's name was Anthony Anderson, of course. And the premise of the show, he was a single father, and he moves back to his parents' home. And then he found out that his room has been rented to a nursing student, and he brought his son with him. So in the cast was, his father was played by Joe Anderson, that was famous by John Amos. Wonderful actor. He played his dad. Also, Roz Ryan as Florence Anderson, Flo. She's famous for her role in Amen, the TV sitcom that starred Sherman Hemsley. Also, Amy Garcia was the nursing student. She played Lydia Serrano. That's her character. She's famous for her role in the George Lopez show. And also there was Tugga Anderson that played Anthony Anderson's son. That's played by Damani Roberts. I saw clips of the show on YouTube. It's funny. I liked it. I don't remember seeing it on when it first aired. It didn't do well in the ratings, so that's a shame. And has a catchy theme song. So I will play it right now. And when I come back, I'll talk a little bit more about Anthony Anderson. Okay? So sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you.
They say the apple don't fall too far from the tree. Whoever came up with that one must have not heard about me. Papa used to say he couldn't understand. Mama must have been spending time with the milkman. In front of the other, just step by step, day by day, they can't stop the brother.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for All About the Andersons. Anthony Anderson, I'm going to talk about a little about him. I like him a lot. He's a great actor, comedian. He's a game show host. He's best known as his role as Kevin Bernard, Detective Kevin Bernard on the crime drama Law and Order. He was there and then he came back. Uh, Also known as in Blackish as Dre Johnson. Oh, that show's funny. It's hilarious. Like that. And he did some movies. Also, let's see. For example, Me, Myself, and Irene, Kangaroo Jack, uh, The Departed, Transformers, and Scream 4. Oh, boy. He was also a judge on he's a regular judge on the Food Network, the Iron Chef America. He also hosts now the game show To Tell the Truth. It's been on for about I don't know 2 3 years, and it features his mother. You know, I had sort of misgivings about the show because I love the classic one from the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. You know, with Bud Collyer and Kitty Carlisle, Tom Poston. Who else was in the Orson Bean and Peggy Cass? You know, they were in the that was the panel. But I started watching. I loved it. I like the show. It's great. It's not the format's still the same in a way to try to guess who is telling the truth or not. They have three contestants, But the funniest thing is that Anthony has his mom, and she's sitting in a chair, and she's like, you know how mothers are. They speak their minds, and it's hilarious. She's a funny lady, and sometimes Anthony yells at her. Yeah, but I like watching. He is great. He's a great actor and all that. He looks thinner now because I think he has type 2 diabetes and he had to change his diet like that. Because I remember watching him. Um, what was it? The movie Barbershop. He was in Barbershop and he was overweight, and that was the first time I saw that movie, and he was great. He was wonderful in that, and that was one of his earliest roles of that. I don't know if he came back in the second one. I don't think so. I don't see it. Hmm, it's all right. Yeah, he did come. He did come back. Okay, and he started in a lot of TV shows, of course. NYPD Blue, Ally McBeal, My Wife and Kids, The Bernie Mac Show. Let's see what else. Also in Kville, he started in that. Samantha Who, remember that show? Raising Hope. So he's everywhere, and he's great. So the Tell the Truth started in 2016, and still I think it'll come back probably next year, I would imagine. So we'll see about that as well. Okay. So that's it for this show. So I'll do a recap of the show right now. So here we go. Here it is from the 1940s. I talked about the anthology drama series, TV series for theater. From the 1950s, the television sitcom Bonino. From the 1960s, the legal TV drama Arrest and Trial. Also from the 1970s, the animated series The Addams Family. From the 1980s, the television sitcom Amanda's, also known as Amanda's by the Sea. In the 1990s, Black Tie Affair, also known as Smoldering Lust. That was the crime drama. And in 2000s, the television sitcom All About the Andersons. Oh, I had a fun time talking on this show. That was great. I apologize again for not doing another episode soon. I had a lot of things going on. Also, this is the last show of the season 1. I will come back with episode 26 for season 2. Oh, how exciting. It really is. So this TV Oblivion is about television shows that are rarely syndicated and have been largely forgotten, and they fell into the oblivion of television. I like that promo. That's funny. Okay, so thank you for joining me. This is Pico Sanchez, your host for TV Oblivion, the podcast. I will be back with another episode soon. We shall see. Maybe at the end of the year, maybe in the beginning of the year. We'll see. Depends on my schedule. Okay, so bye-bye for me, and here's the Pick and Pluck song. And sit back and enjoy it. Take care, everyone. So long.